stores like we used to have to go to the cities to shop in, and now Rolla has that. Which I live in St. James, but Rolla there to shop, and it's only a few miles away. I checked out books, and I learned what's a crochet. Uh, I'm one of these people that was taught. The first stitch I was taught was the double crochet, and then my aunt was spending the summer with me, and then she taught me single, half, double, and treble. And then I was left to my own devices, and I tried to crochet.
I thought I had it set up to do. I was going to stay here and type. I had it set up to start in 30 minutes or an hour or something like that.
Throwing them across the floor. So when I crochet, I either watch someone on YouTube or I look at stuff and figure out how it's done.
Hi, Bridget. Oh, wow. People are coming.
Crochet for a long time, you basically know how
Look at little Miss being a dork back there.
For me, it is. You basically understand. I made the pineapple stitch
in her window.
Pineapple stitch.
Okay, now y'all can't listen to Noni on my camera. So what are y'all doing today? Other than sitting here watching me. I'm making progress. You know, this is kind of awkward, but I like it cold. I turned my heater on briefly when I first got back from Mexico, but mainly that was because Drew was coming over. But I generally keep it cold. Let me flip my chair around because that's the... No, not there. There we go. Oh, they're still light. But at least you can see me now. Hi, Las Vegas Ann and Handmade Designs. Hi, Cindy. Cindy, that's the closest I've ever seen someone coming to spell their name the same way my niece does, because she's Cyndie. Let's see who just messaged me. Oh. So this pattern calls for, excuse me, 3/4 of an inch of ribbing, which is 4 rows, and I'm at an inch. So I figure it can be a little bit longer. And I had to do the Chinese cast on, wasn't doing right because it was too much of a gap and it wasn't tight enough. So I had to go back and do the long tail. I measured it twice and I got much extra. Good internet is always nice. So my cats are, they have so many toys. They have more toys than most kids do. but I always have to swap out their toys every so often. So now they got new toys swapped out this morning, and I can hear them playing with them in the background. Hi, Terry. Yeah, Bridget, I sat there because when I went to the knitting class, they told me, you measure, you count how many times you wrap around. And I did that twice because I would do that, and then I will subtract a little bit of what I add. And I did twice, and I still ended up with enough that I could probably do another 100 stitches cast on. So I have no idea how to get the yeah, Becca, I was having gaps with it when between where you're the bottom of it and then the next stitch was, about almost a half-inch gap that I couldn't get to go away. So I just went ahead and did the long tail. So now I've got the massively long tail, which I'm going to say that's why they call it long tail. A yarny cat, yeah, it's just practicing. I learned knitting from YouTube videos. So I didn't know that there was a right-handed way and a left-handed way. So I knit right-handed, and then before I learned crocheting, I learned that you could actually do it left-handed. So I crochet left hand, which I think that's why I have a problem with the Chinese waitress cast on, is because it's a mix of knitting and crocheting, but I end up having to crochet with my right hand. So it's a little bit harder, but I get it. The more I practice, the better it does. So there's my Whipmas tree in the back with all my bags and my projects. Coffee, Rebecca, and you're brand new. I mean, I would start with left-handed just to see if it's easier. But I was so much used to it by the time I got going that, it feels natural to me this way. And I don't know. I've not tried it. I guess I ought to try it. That way I can be an ambidextrous knitter. I just know that I'm really good at tinking and frogging. Although I have one blanket that I call my Tinkerbell blanket, because every time I work on it, if I haven't done it in a while, I forget the pattern, even though I'm following it on a paper. I always end up having to back out the first couple rows. But I did last spring after I went to a Votech, because they had for $50, it was a class you met once a week for 6 weeks. And so they taught the basics. I mean, it was made for complete beginners, so like to the point of even how to hold the needles. And so I learned a lot of, I learned a purl until, I got into the actual knitting. But the best thing I learned was how to read a pattern and how to pick up a drop stitch. Because before then, if I dropped a stitch, I'd have to rip everything out no matter how far I'd gone and start over. My sister is left-handed, but she's the kind of left-handed. She's the left-handed that writes like that. And I'm left-handed, but I don't, I write normal. But she crochets better left-handed. As far as crochet or knitting left or right-handed, it's more of your dominant hand, which one it just feels better, easier, knitting, because it's not as much action as crocheting. So I would think it would be easier to switch back and forth between, left and right-handed. Yeah, Cindy, I think that the patterns, they are a lot of times, you sometimes get things look a little bit more like professional. I think with as far as, because you don't see crocheted patterns in stores a lot. You always see knit patterns. So that's what, to me, kind of what the knitting does. But crochet to me, it moves faster. But it also, like, the edges always look a lot better for me um, on crocheting than they do on knitting. But I just learned a new technique on knitting to where instead of actually knitting the first one, you just carry it over and it makes it look nicer. So that's what I'm trying on this. Yarny Cat, the easiest cast on. I learned doing an E-wrap style cast on, which was pretty easy. If you already crochet, I think the Chinese waitress cast on probably would be the easiest one to learn. Like if you are, I'm going to see if I can do it here. Kind of give an idea. Because the regular, like the long tail, you're weaving in and out. I can't remember without actually starting over. I can't remember. But yeah, I think that probably the Chinese waitress one would be easier with crocheting. Just use the method that calls for a crochet hook, not the one that calls for, because if you use the one that's for 2 needles, then it actually has you picking up the yarn with your finger. But if you use with a crochet hook, then you just use the hook and pull it through like your normal crocheting. Oh, I wasn't going to mess it up. I was just going to show you the hand movement, but I can't, unless I'm actually casting on, I can't remember it all of a sudden. It's like a pop quiz. I forgot how, you know the homework until you get in for the pop quiz and you forget everything. Thank you, Anne. We had the Day of the Dead festival, and if you went and volunteered with helping with the setup, then you got free T-shirts. So me and my sister went. I mean, I'm using a circular needle just because it's so long. When I very first started learning circular needles, I had a shorter circular needle, and I couldn't get, I didn't have enough wiggle room in the cable. So it didn't work for me. But so I did straight needles. And to be honest, I started with the acrylic straight needles because the yarn didn't slide as easily. So I didn't drop a yarn as easy. It was a lot harder to drop a stitch. But once I got going, and I got to these super long crochet ones, I got to where I understood the circular needles. But oh, I found these ones on eBay. I love eBay. This is my lap blanket. But these aren't even the longest ones I have, but they are pretty long. But they're like 14 inches. And so they do pretty good. Hi, Teresa. I need to probably end that blanket at the next pattern repeat, so I can actually claim I finished a blanket. Yeah, I like the colors, and that's the Bernat home deck yarn, like this is. And I like it because you really can't split the yarn. And it's a jersey material, like a t-shirt. So it's really great for learning. That's when my sister, we were teaching her crochet. We found her some of this in a solid color, so she couldn't split the yarn. Hi, Darla. and everyone else that's come in. So. Yeah, my Walmart actually has compared to what everyone else is showing me on their Walmarts, my Walmart has a pretty decent amount. But I'm also lucky because we've got a Joann's and a Michael's and a Hobby Lobby, but I don't go there. The Michael's always has 40 or 50% off coupons, especially if you join their rewards program. But I got these and the rest of the needles that I keep hanging up there. I got them for like $1 or $2 from Wish, but then Wish, never has free shipping. So sometimes the shipping is where the cost is. But I have figured out that most of the places that sell on Wish also sell on eBay, and I can usually get free shipping on eBay. Hi, breathing nurse. I suck at people's real names unless they're in their title. I used to be good at names until I worked for the prison, and I would get, 100 new inmates to learn names for every day. So I'm like, my brain just gave up on learning names. Becca, Dollar Tree has, if you go on a website, they sell yarn and they have Bernat blanket for like $1 a skein. And, I think you have to buy in like bundles of 6, but hi, Granny D. And then I can't remember. Let me see if I can look at this real quick. If I still have the email. Deal something. Okay, not in there. I've got it somewhere else. That back mentioned, and then I hadn't seen the video yet, but someone sent me a link to it. And my computer's going to be slow now. Trying to switch between tabs. Being super slow. Like I'm trying to get back to the window so I can't see anything anyone's typing yet. Until there we go. Now I'm back. Okay. Deal Genius. Thank you. That's what I was looking for, someone to me email. They have cheap yarn. I went to look at it and I was so tempted, but I'm on a yarn ban until I get through my stash or the end of the year, whichever comes first. Hi, Amanda. So I don't know that you can see it. See that stack right there? That's my yarn. And I'm waiting for I do a lot of reward programs, like you do surveys and get, points, or some of them it's just tracking the same data that Google tracks on me. But I did this one called YouGov, and I cashed in my points for a $50 Amazon gift card. So I'm waiting for that to show up so I can get this modular wire rack system so that I can set up my yarn and actually see it and not have it in boxes. I can tell you I was going through picking out the yarn that I'm using for the cardigan, and I found yarn that I'd forgotten that I even had. And if you have Blue Cross Blue Shield insurance here in the US, they have this program called Well on Target that if you link up, like if you have an Android phone, you have like Google Health or Samsung Health, whatnot. If you pair that up with the app, then you get reward points for doing healthy things. And I had the Well on Target account years ago, and I had forgot about it, or when I quit having the insurance. Oh, thanks for stopping by. But when I re-signed up for it, it re-linked and gave me all the points since the last time it synced several years back. So I jumped from like 200 points to like 19,000 points. So I cashed in for a shelf and some other, yarny fun stuff. Yeah, but what you can see there is I don't have a lot of storage and don't have any built-in storage. So if I want to display my yarn, I have to get shelves and racks and things like that. Ooh, Liverpool. Can England reclaim us? We're not doing well as a nation right now. I want universal health care. Miss, where'd you go? When she suddenly gets quiet, she's in trouble. Come here, little miss. Well, Max, here we go. Look at this furry little terrorist. She'll let me kiss her. Max does this thing. Come here, Max. This one's Max. Yeah, she's probably going after. I hide my shoes, and she will stick her paw under the door to get to the shoelaces because she knows they're in there. She's also the one that learned where I. And all the toys that I get them, and they have to go for my shoelaces. My cats are what make me being okay with waking up every morning because I deal with depression and anxiety that gets pretty severe. And I got my sister let me get a cat when I was living with her, and just my doctor even made a comment just within a month of me having the cat, having Max, of how much better I was doing because I have depression that's resistant to antidepressants. We've tried all the new ones, and we're going back trying old school ones to find something that works. My depression scale I give my doctor is a -5 to a +5. And a +5 would be someone that's bipolar and manic. And a -5 would be someone that is, like critical level depression, like where you're at a crisis. And 0 would just be completely numb. And I hang out at like a -2 to a 1. Man, sometimes I think, because I've been at the 5 level of depression, and sometimes I think that would be better than being at a 0, just because at least you feel something. But my little fur babies, they make me smile. So I've been dealing with depression for as long as I can remember. I mean, it was declared in need of treatment as a teenager and put in DHS custody. Because I was a runaway, but it was in and out of psych hospitals. So I've been on, I know that it's patient, you have to be patient and try medicine, and that it takes, 4 to 6 weeks to even find out if it's going to work. Yeah. Anxiety sucks. And I did like to have that whole, I was a nerd in junior high and in grade school, and I was not the like they have cool nerds now. I was not that kind. So I just have a lot of stuff that is just residual from, how I grew up. And I keep telling my therapist at this point, it feels like this is just what life is, like the old Jack Nicholson movie, as good as it gets. But I know that it can get better. It's just finding, the medicine and the therapies that will. But I'm starting a new group it's DBT, dialectical behavioral therapy. But I've used it before, and thanks, Becca. It did, like the old school cognitive behavioral therapy that teaches you to change what you're thinking and stop thinking that way never worked for me, and it frustrated me because as hard as I would try, you know, my belief is, you know, you can't control the first thought that comes in your head. That's just instinct. You can control how you respond to it. Um, you know, like I got bit by a dog in July, so now every time I walk past that house, if the dogs start, or not that house because they keep the dog in the backyard now. I crochet rocks, but if I walk past a fence and a dog jumps out barking, you know, my first thought was, "Oh crap, I'm going to get bitten." Um, but my second thought or how I respond to it is, you know, it's usually, you know, combats that. But with ACT or DBT, they teach you how to live with the emotion, not necessarily change it. So, and that helps. So I start that group sometime next month. Yeah, Terry, your parents don't have just one cat. They now have about 11. Because once you start feeding a cat, you own it. You know, that cat knows where to go, you know, where home is at that point, even if they don't sleep there. This is my first live. So you made it in for my first one. Hi, Big Ben. So I'm still working on I'm calling this my cardigan because I can do it. That's just, I always like that whole, what they call it, you know, trash can, not a trash can't. So that's what when I, you know, kept seeing the cardigan on the pattern, I just kept thinking cardigan, not cardigan. Yeah, and I would have done the live Friday had I not had that snafu with the doctor's office that got me frustrated having to go all the way out there for nothing. And I probably should, and I know I should have called first, and I thought about it, but then I was like, nah, you know, I've got to get out anyway, and it won't be that bad, even if it's a wasted trip until the next bus, you know, the next two bus stops were actually temporarily closed. But yeah, I used to skydive, and the anticipation was always worse than the actual jumping out of the plane. Like I would be the one, they would tell me, you know, time to suit up. Nope, not going to do it. Time to get in the plane. Nope, not going to do it. But then as soon as they opened the door, I was ready to go. So I know the anxiety is the fear of it is worse than the actual act. Bye, Darla. Be good today. I want to play around with StreamYard to see if I can use one of my phones and where I can actually have like dual screen where you can do like a diamond painting to where you could see me talking, but then you could also see me doing the diamond painting and do a live stream that way. Or I may look at, because I'm new to the whole, you know, photo editing. I use an app on my phone that not in my books, called UCut, that basically, I mean, I can add music, I can do a little bit of stuff. Thank you, nurse. Like I use it to flip. Yeah, there's the pattern I'm working on the TV screen, but I use it to flip images so that things are right way. So you're not people aren't having to try to read stuff backwards on my videos. But I don't know about, you know, if I could do a split screen with two videos, but I've got a couple other apps I need to play around with. Oh, my screen just went black. I don't know what that was. That was weird. Okay, I use this app that I use called UCut. It's on Android. I don't know if there's an iPhone version. They have a free and a paid version. Now, the only reason I went to the paid version was, one, I liked them enough that I felt that, okay, they were working well for me, so I was going to go ahead and support them. And two, it was like, it's either $13 lifetime or $5 a year, but you get more music available with the paid version. But there's free stuff. I mean, you can, everything that I need, that I absolutely need for my videos, I can get in the free version. So you don't have to get the paid version with it. And then I've got a couple other ones: Glitch Video, Power Director, Prism, Magista. Those I've played with them a little bit, but I haven't used them as much as I have with UCut. Well, I have a laptop that runs Linux that's got a broken hinge. Thank you, Amanda. But this is my old laptop. That has a broken hinge, but I use it. Basically, I run other people's lives on it, or not lives, but their video streams, their playlists, whatnot. So that, yeah. I got that one in 2016. So you wouldn't think it's not really that old. Oh yeah, I hope you have an unlimited data plan. I have Sprint, so I've got unlimited data, but I also have, and in one street that if I want to go to the big Walmart, I have to go like 3 miles down a street called Clausen, and Sprint hates Clausen Avenue for some reason. Yeah, I'm on my Chromebook. I got it about a year ago. I like it. But yeah, the thing with the Chromebook is if you don't have internet at home, then the Chromebooks are pretty much worthless for you. Yeah, and I get that with the crappy internet. Before I moved here, I lived at my sister's house in Wolf. And Wolf is so small and so far out there that they don't have their own zip code. They share it with a town. They shared their zip code with a town 10 miles away. But the only internet we could get out there was satellite. And my sister lived in the middle of the woods, basically. So the satellite, she had to have a tower put in so that they could get above the level of the trees. And they went through 3 or 4 different satellite internet providers before they finally found a decent one. And then I moved. But she paid almost $100 a month for her internet out there. I pay $80 for my internet here with Cox. I've got 1 terabyte of data a month and 150 megabyte per second speed, which is not bad. If I wanted, AT&T is the other pretty much your only other internet option in the city, and they could only get me 5 megabits per second. So yeah, I'm lucky that Oklahoma is a fairly cheap place to live compared to a lot of, what I hear about a lot of other states. But I still because I'm on disability. Oh, it's not the AT&T that I get. It's not even AT&T Fios. It's not, Fios would be a good speed. Hello, Washington, Remy and Amy. Oh, you got diamond paintings. I have 2 of my diamond paintings up. I usually do my diamond paintings. I take them to my therapist and let her have them. And the therapist in her office, I'll fight over who gets them. But I live because I can't work because there's still I will wake up with days that I'm just like, when you look at my job history, and I've in my entire life I've only managed to have like stay at one job longer than a year, like twice, maybe three times. Because usually I will be fine, and then I will have a flare up, and I'll just like I don't freaking care. I can't get out of bed. It's just but I'm lucky that I do live in Section 8 housing, so they pay a good chunk of my rent, which is nice. But I have, and it's all bills paid, which saves me a lot of money. But yeah, but once you get disability, like I was getting before I got disability, I was getting a decent amount of food stamps, and now I get $16 a month of food stamps. And but I have set up with my friend helps me budget, because if you were to give me all of my money in one lump sum each month, I would have money for the first 10 days of the month, and then I would be broke for the rest of it. So, we have two accounts. My friend, he's not officially my payee, but he acts as one. Yeah. And then, hopefully I can get through YouTube. Even if YouTube just gives me $10 or $15 a month, that would go a long ways right now. But, I live on $82. I get $82 a week for what I call my allowance. And out of that $82, I buy my food, I buy the cat food, and any of my, crafting supplies, and I pay my phone bill out of that. Everything else is budgeted prior to my allowance. So I'm lucky that where I live, I can get that much, because that's a lot of money. Compared to a lot of people that I've talked to, getting $82 a week makes me, almost rich, because almost all, I've got to buy food with that, but to be honest, I live off frozen dinner. So, it's not that I need to get back into cooking. I just haven't felt like it. But yeah, I have, from living somewhere where they also have food delivery, we've got GoPuff and Postmates and Instacart and DoorDash and all those things. I've gained 50 pounds living here. But I need to get back to following my meal plan, because I do better that as well. And another thing that I think was like with my with Blue Cross Blue Shield, and because I actually had to pay taxes last year, and because I still even though I'm not having to pay taxes this year, I still have to file. I got that tax credit. So I get the help on the the Obamacare insurance. Because I don't qualify for Medicare until September. But Blue Cross Blue Shield has this program for it's $25 a month, but it gives me access to a whole lot of gyms. And I need to start doing that, because I know that being physically active, lifting weights, whatnot, I felt better. Just part of my problem is getting myself to actually get out and go. Yeah, nurse, you should see my sister's house in Wolf. She's got, her mortgage is only a little bit more than what yours is. And hers is 2-story, 1, 2, 3 bedrooms upstairs, 1 room downstairs that you can use as a bedroom or you can use as an office. But it's a huge, of course, it's in the middle of nowhere, and you've got to drive, 20 minutes on dirt roads to get to it, and have 4-wheel drive when it rains. But, if you want to move to Oklahoma, she's looking to rent out her house or sell it. Plus, and she's got this huge pond that is stocked with all kind of fish and beavers in her backyard. And somewhere my missing flip-flop that I lost when the beaver chased me. Holy crap. My no bedroom apartment now, the rent is more than that. But my portion after Section 8 is, I think I pay about $400 is my portion. Yeah, I wouldn't have a problem with it. I rented a place for a while that it was a permanently planted RV, and it really wasn't that bad. I would have to get a decent sized one now just to be able to stash my yarn, but I know a lot of people that, they do the whole living in an RV thing, because there are mobile home parks that let you live in an RV, but even if you're in one you have to drive around, I mean, they're changing it. They're starting to change it, but a lot of Walmarts kind of, look the other way from someone that parks an RV there, as long as they move it every so often. Hey, Claire. I think if I had an RV that, I know yours does drive around, but if I had one that actually could drive around, I think it would be fun to go and actually travel and see different places. But then again, I also have that whole, I get up in the morning and I don't want to do anything. So I would be moving like 2 hours a day. And that's as far as I would get before I'd park and say I'm done for the day. If I can finish this row, I get to do it next. The pattern changes after this row. I think I'm not, okay, I'm not super tall, but I'm not sure, but I still think I'd probably be afraid to drive an RV very much. That's okay, Crochet Rocks. Lurkers are fine. I tend to lurk in lives when I'm in them. So. Although we can always go tease Nunny May and tell her that I went live and she never even showed up in here. Or if she did, I haven't seen her. Yeah, we didn't really get vacations growing up as a kid. I didn't get like this, what I refer to as like the sitcom childhood, where the kid's entire responsibility is, go to school, and then chores is like taking out the trash or setting the table. I didn't get that kind of childhood. I grew up in we refer to it as a hobby farm. My dad had a full-time job, but he also had, and it wasn't like one or two cows. I think I like one, between 50 and 100 head of cattle. And so chores for us during the summer was, an hour to an hour and a half. During the winter, you're looking at like 3 hours, hauling hay and whatnot home. And, it would be, I'd have a little bit of time before my dad got home. And then once he got home, it was, help him out in the workshop where he would build cattle trailers or, fences, whatnot. And then we'd do chores. So I didn't get that stereotypical, childhood, but we didn't do a lot of vacations just because we had the animals and it was too hard to find someone, that would come and take care of them for us. I messed up and forgot to switch over to purling. Yeah, I still talk about a joke that I have a resentment against cows, Just because I remember how many times cows would jump the fence and we'd get woken up at 2 a.m, get your shoes on, let's go chase down the cows. And I mean, I'm sorry, but if you've got a grade school kid or a kid that's, that's in school, you don't need to be waking them up at 2 a.m to go chase cows. Yeah, I'd like to go to Alaska. I want to go to Hawaii, but I want to go to like not necessarily to all the touristy parts. I want to go like really in and see like like when I go to places, I want to see like what people that live there, what it's like for them. And my sister had an RV. It was the fifth wheel style RV, so it wasn't even like full size. She and her 2 kids, and then me for a couple months lived in that. But she had it parked at a mobile home park because a lot of our mobile home parks out here will also let you park RVs, and they will have certain setups where do RVs because they fit different, I guess. But I mean, it's common to see mobile home parks out here that have plenty of RVs that are parked there permanently just because they're cheaper and we're not always wealthier people out here. I have been through the very tiny bottom part of Alabama, but not enough to get to explore. Yeah. Yeah, horses are way smarter than cows and better at getting out of fences than anything I've ever seen. The land that I grew up on after my dad died, my sister, the one that took me to Mexico, she inherited the land, and her friend is living out there taking care of it. She's got horses now, but they've got like 6-foot tall fences to keep the horses from jumping. Have a good day, Amanda. Oh, that. Yeah, I don't even. Is that even legal, Claire? I know that, at least in Oklahoma, if you're on sick leave, they're not supposed to be able to fire you when you're on medical leave. And I know a lot of places, they're so paranoid that even for like the first month or two after you're back, they won't, mess with you. And I know that, there's certain things that if you, in the US, if you work at a company that's big enough and you've been there long enough and put enough hours in the last year, you've got FMLA. But a lot of people aren't eligible for FMLA yet when they have to go on maternity leave. Claire, were you at least eligible for like unemployment? I mean, that's not a whole lot of money, but geez, that would have helped. I have been on for 51 minutes. I think I'm going to make it to the 1 hour mark, and then I will end the live because I figure an hour is pretty good for my first one. So, oh well, Claire, that was just, at least they hired you back, but that was still crappy that they let you go. Yeah, I mean, I understand like that. There's been a lot of times that I haven't been eligible for FMLA, when I could have used it, but thankfully, most of my jobs, kind of put up with it anyway. But I just got to the point when you looked at my work history when I'm 44 and I've had, so many jobs that when applying for disability, I had it, there just wasn't enough space to list all my jobs, even for like the last 5 years. Yeah, Claire, we don't even get, we don't have any kind of required paid leave. And like I said, the people that do get to be eligible for FMLA just get it for, I think, what is it, 12 weeks if they go full time, or a little bit longer if they do part time. If they're taking the leave part time, not if they're working part time, but it's unpaid. Yeah, that's hard because I know that I've had friends that have had that surgery, and generally there's a reason why they tell you to take 6 weeks off. But yeah, I understand that when you financially you can't do it. So I hope that if you do get to go back to work, that physically that you're able to handle it. Oh, Becca, that sucks. I lucked out. I got disability my first try. Now, I did have an attorney because I got hung up at one point as far as like, was it progressing? And the attorney went ahead and signed me on. And we figured out that there was just a form that they hadn't sent me yet. But I got approved the first time, which made me wonder, okay, am I just more screwed up than I think I am? I mean, I know I'm not normal, but yeah. My sister, who's got a lot of physical health issues, plus I'm more chronic psych, and she's a kind of in that acute psych phase right now, but she got denied. Her initial application got denied, and she got her denial, or her appeal got denied. So now they're waiting for the court date. Oh, Amy, I don't know if you're going to be able to handle that. I know what CNAs do, and if you're you've got the heaviest and hardest job in any kind of healthcare. That's physically demanding. I don't know if if it was a total abdominal or if they were able to go in laparoscopic, but if it's a total abdominal, you're going to tear yourself up. Hey, Carla, thanks for stopping by. My god sister growing up was named Carla. Amy, you take care of yourself. Even if you do go back to work, you make sure you use every bit of precaution, every bit of help that you can get, because you don't want to cause physical damage to yourself. Becca, I'd always heard that too. That's why I was surprised that the attorney took me on right off the bat. I think a lot of times it has to do with the attorney. Plus, my attorney, he basically got $1,000 for not, and didn't have to do anything except electronically submit some paperwork for me. But I always figured that $1,000 was worth it because I would still be waiting on it if it wasn't for him. But I would go ahead and check, or when you're on it. For anyone that's trying to get a disability, I would go ahead and check with an attorney, even if you haven't finished your your initial application. Well, that's good. So you got to do laparoscopic. still take care of yourself, because even though you only have tiny incisions on the outside, that was a lot of stuff that was done on the inside. But yeah, I'm the same way with pain medicine. I don't usually need to take pain medicine as long as they think I need to. But I just have a weird pain response. Yeah, I've only been on disability. Well, I haven't even hit my 2-year mark, because September will be the 2 years, when I can actually get on Medicare. But I know that I think I've got to do the 3.5-year review. And I'm hoping, because I'd like to be able to go back to work. Because I want to, I know Amazon can be pretty hard on with their employees, but I loved working for the post office, and we've got Amazon out here, and I'd like to go and deliver for them. But I'm hoping, I want to try and get in one of the ticket to work programs and be able to go back to work, because I think I would do better if I could actually had a reason where I had to get up and leave my house every day. Hey, Terry, we're the same age. You have a ferret. I am jealous. My sister's friend has a ferret, and they are the cutest, furriest little things. I just had my birthday last month. Just about everyone in my family was born in December. We have the 2nd, the 16th, the 18th, and the 22nd of December. And then one sister that got lucky and was born in July. She was born in July. My sister, not the one I went to Mexico, but my older sister was born July 11th. Aww. Yeah, I would like to get a baby rat, and so that I can raise it from or get a couple baby rats so I can raise it from when they're tiny, so that they're socialized. But I'm also not sure that I'm social enough for a rat. But I want all the furry little things. Oh, memory care is hard. Back when I was still working as a nurse, they still in the belief that they needed to reorient everybody instead of leaving them in their happy delusions. Well, everyone, I've hit the 1-hour mark. Thank you guys for coming to my first live. I'm glad that I did it. I will definitely do it again. Hopefully next time I won't have issues with my voice. Gotta love the Oklahoma allergies. You guys have a great day, and I'll see you in any of the other lives.